Welcome back to Julivia TV, your destination for informative, analytical, and enlightening content. We are already in the Christmas week, and the wildly anticipated disbursements haven't still taken place. Naturally, this calls for disappointment, anxiety, depression, and even doubt of the entire disbursement activity. Is far from this. Disbursement is possible before Christmas. In our previous video, we intimated you that disbursement will commence between the 16th till 24th of December 2024. We are still standing on that reality. Disbursement is possible before celebrating this year Christmas. We are saying this owing to the sequence of events that transpired in the grant ecosystem or in the country a few days ago. Recall, we intimated you that authorities from the IMF and the World Bank were here in the country. They are still much around. And their reason for being here is to supervise the disbursement or the flagging off of disbursement. Just a few days ago, there was a highly classified meeting between the grant handlers, government representative, and the representative from this IMF and World Bank. And the good news is that there was cooperation between both parties as activities and policies that will bring about disbursement were finally streamlined and concluded. So nothing technically is holding disbursement. Time and again, we intimate you that the delay that is taking place in this ecosystem is actually a blessing in disguise. Between the 16th of December till this Christmas week, sequence of events have taken place to the advantage of both you, the beneficiaries, and the NGO CEOs. One of the good news is that it's going to be 2 bundles for the NGO CEOs, no more 1 bundle. And the entitlement of beneficiaries is going to be 3 million naira in some of the grant organizations they subscribe with. This last-minute development reveals that if disbursement was to commence since 8 or 10 years ago when this money was donated by the donors to Nigerian organizations, the entitlement of beneficiaries shouldn't have been this mouth-watering as it is at the moment. For example, at the time the money was donated to the NGO, dollar to naira exchange rate was barely 240 naira to 400 naira. And what is the current naira to dollar exchange rate at the moment? Is about 1,600 plus. Therefore, if disbursement was to take place at the era of Telpacon, SEM, Theobat, Golden Bridge, or even in 2023 December, the entitlements of beneficiaries should have been between 50,000 to 300,000 or 1.8 million, at most 2.5 million naira. But now, the delay has led to increment in the entitlement to 3 million naira and then 2 bundles to the NGO CEOs. This again explains the reason why there is constant meeting and adjustment of policies in the grant ecosystem. As a fact, the way things are happening right now, if there is a way government should have hijacked the process, the entire disbursement should have been hijacked by politicians, ministers, and other government representatives, because the entitlement and the entire process is becoming more attractive than ever thought possible. This is the same reason why previous governments find very inconveniencing approving grants to the tune of millions of naira years ago to be disbursed for the masses, for average people, for non-governmental people. But luckily for us in the current ecosystem, the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wish to see the masses breathe. As a fact, the donors want the entitlements of beneficiaries to be meaningful, but the government of Nigeria wants to keep it in a certain limit, hence the economy will not be upsetted. The governments are quite sensitive to the impact of disbursement on the economy. That's why you are witnessing repeated adjustments in policies and subjection of the grant handlers to regulatory bodies to checkmate the activities or the scheme of disbursement. The interest of the masses is for the money to be disbursed for them to use and build their lives. But the interest of the government is to keep the economy stable. Recently, the Nigeria economy has been staggering, battle with inflation rate and skyrocketed prices of goods and services. These are all factors that constituted delay in disbursement expectation. And the sad reality is that no government of any nation is willing to sacrifice the welfare of the citizens on the altar of economic instability. According to the feedback we are getting after the meeting of the joint representative in the villa a few days ago, certain grants organizations have been approved to partake in the disbursement process. This implies that most of the NGO you subscribe for will disburse to you. We are intimated that grant organizations like the UAAG, AGPGN, Supreme, Hope Project, Kyoba Global Foundation, St. Rita, and the likes were approved to partake in the disbursement activity. And it will interest you to know that one of the reasons for the delay was for the government to checkmate the number of times beneficiaries receive these grants. They are aware that you as a beneficiary or NGO CEO have subscribed to all these organizations and you are going to receive disbursement from all of them. Therefore, it's a scenario of having 5 or 10 or 20 beneficiary slots in almost 5 or 6 organizations, implying that as a beneficiary, you are going to receive the sum of 3 million naira times 5, 10, or 25 places. Stated simply, if you subscribe for UAAG, AGPGN, Supreme, Hope Project, St. Rita, and you have 5 slots in each of them, it implies you are receiving 3 million naira in each organization times the number of slots you have there. If you have 5 beneficiary slots in UAAG, that means 3 times 5. 15 million naira. If you subscribe in 5 organizations with 5 beneficiary slots in each of them, that implies 5 times 5, 25 slots, and 3 million times 25. That's what you are receiving. And this is alarming or a threat to certain people in this country. Imagine their former cleaner or gate man receiving 15 million or 25 million naira from grants. If there are ways they can stop the process, if some of these authorities have a way of hijacking the process and disbursing among their circle of elites, they should have done so. But luckily, thank God for the president of the day and the donor policies on disbursement. And this call for deep prayer by the beneficiaries, not doubting if there will be disbursement or there's money there. Money is always there, but governments don't always find it conveniencing approving such volume of money to be disbursed to the masses. Currently, some beneficiaries are worried on the closure of CBN for the year or the closure of commercial banks when disbursement will eventually take place in Christmas. We are already ahead of this stage. Money is no more with the CBN. You are aware of this. The money is with an organization that will disburse to all grant handlers. There are sequences in this disbursement activity. Firstly, the money was swapped from the currency it was to Nigerian naira. Remember, the money came in fiat currency in dollars. And converting such volume of cash to naira was an activity done in space of days or weeks. It took months. After that stage was the CBN stage, where the money was distributed to the designated account that will now in turn distribute to other NGO or grant handler accounts to disburse to the NGOs, then the NGO to the masses. In essence, we are no more in a stage where the closure of the CBN or the commercial banks will affect disbursement. It's a scenario of you having a bank app in your phone. You can execute your financial transactions at midnight on Saturday or Sunday, any period of the day. Technically, disbursement can take place even during Christmas celebrations and continue till the new year. The bank is already in our palm. The bank is in the palm of the grant handler. The bank is in the palm of the NGO CEO. So any beneficiary that is worried if the NGO, when they receive the money, will be able to disburse, it depends on the capability of the NGO. If the NGO is technologically savvy, or if they have taken all the advices on instructions that have been given over time in this ecosystem on doing email indemnification while the commercial banks are still operating, they will not have issue in disbursing or having the banking app and internet banking on their phone. There are several apps. There are people that have subscribed to Paystack. With Paystack platform, every NGO can disburse at the snap of finger to all the beneficiaries under them, except some NGO, out of the thought of safety of the transactions, will want to keep the fund till the resumption of the bank in the new year before they disburse to their beneficiaries. Else, disbursement can take place during the holiday celebration without any restriction whatsoever. So let the thought of the closure of commercial banks and the CBN not disturb you. And let the thought of if disbursement is still going to take place this year not disturb you. Because the representative of the IMF and the World Bank are still here. The letter that was communicated by the IMF and the World Bank to Nigerian government holds that the representative will not stay beyond 24th of December. Therefore, disbursement should commence between that timeline. Hence, their representative can retire to their destinations. Therefore, we are using this to establish that disbursement will be facilitated than never thought possible, except there may be new developments or conflicts of interest. But I'm not seeing conflicts of interest at this stage because we have even witnessed and moved away from that disturbing situation few weeks and months ago. The last one was what happened in the ranks of the UAAG a few weeks ago, where Chief Agogun, Power of Five, Iron Lady, Pascal Anyanwu, and other UAAG rep were at fisticuff with each other. Thank God there was a quick resolution of that interest. And from the post circulating from that ranks, there is harmony between the grant handler. And another factor that should have created delay or petition was when some grant handlers was sidelined or removed from partaking in the disbursement activity. Now that the likes of UAAG, AGPGN, St. Rita, Gilbert, Supreme have been approved to partake in the activity, I'm not seeing any issues developing anymore. What we are not certain at the moment is if some of the grant handler will receive directly from the parent NGO, or they will partner with another grant handler and disburse to their own beneficiary audience, which are part of those policies that was harmonized in the last meeting at the Villa a few days ago. And ultimately, the main factor that created delay between the NGOs and the government have finally been laid to rest in the last meeting. You might be aware that some time ago, the government input in the number of NGOs to be fielded for disbursement was in conflict with the grant handler's interest. And if disbursement were to take place on 28 November or in 16 December, it would shock the ecosystem that the majority of the slots should have gone to the government wing, not even the grant handler. The grant handler might have been receiving few number of slots that will not be adequate to disburse to the NGOs and beneficiaries subscribing under them. Our advice at this stage is let the government interest not supersede the interest of the masses, and let the grant handler representing the masses be flexible in their approach or interaction with the government authorities. If what the government authorities are seeking at the moment is fair, they should allow it, hence disbursement can be allowed to proceed. Aware that we are in a country where everybody seeks interest in everything. If, for example, you submit a document for employment on the table of a permanent secretary and you don't seek input from the permanent secretary, he might delay the approval with the excuse of traveling out of the country or engaging in official conferences. But immediately you capture the interest of the authority concerned, you see them suspending every other important activity and approving such a document. That's what we're expecting to see at this stage. Let there be tolerance and fairness in interest of all parties. When two elephants fight, it's always the grasses that suffer. Government may decide to suspend the process when there is conflict of interest, and it's the masses that will suffer in the case. After all, the government representatives are already rich, with disbursement or not, they are still going to live their life. It's about those masses that are already squatting or being evicted of their homes because of being unable to pay their house rent or their kids being out of school. When presenting your interest, let the welfare of the masses be paramount of all other interests. However, there is no cause for alarm. We are intimated that the foreign representative and the Nigerian government, alongside the grant handler, are cooperating in all ramifications. Therefore, technically, nothing is holding disbursement. It's already a done deal. Anyone that is disturbing himself at the moment is doing so at his or her own peril. Worry for nothing that God has already made a reality. If you are new to our channel or haven't subscribed before, hit the subscription button and activate the notification bell. Hence, when we publish the next disbursement update, you will be immediately notified. Take home facts for today. Before then, I noticed that some viewers or subscribers of this channel did not receive the notification of our last update. This is because you have not turned on the notification bell. If you haven't turned on the bell, click on it and turn it on. Hence, when we publish our next specific update on disbursement, you will be immediately notified. Disbursement is going to commence before the 25th of December 2024. Stop troubling yourself. You can confirm the signal of disbursement in the post of Power of 5 few hours ago. The same power of 5 that said UAG have no money to disburse is now affirming that the only language that subscribers want to hear at the moment is disbursement, and that is the language he is equally speaking. He concluded by saying that disbursement is 100% guaranteed. All these are affirmations that we are in the disbursement week. The representative of the donors are still in the country to witness disbursement flag off. The closure of the CBN or other commercial banks cannot limit or restrict disbursement. Money is already with the grant handler. The bank is already in our palms. Expect alerts before Christmas and even during Christmas celebration. Stop destroying yourself with fearful thoughts of disbursement. What God has already approved cannot be reversed. You have to stay alive and healthy to experience the manifestation of this God's glory. A few hours ago, I witnessed a disturbing video of certain citizens of this country suffocating to death in the process of trying to secure a right to celebrate this Christmas. Some of these people confirm to be subscribers of this grant, but they are no more here to experience these divine blessings when it happens. You are still here alive, and you have to remain alive even after disbursement. So let not the delay be a reason why you are being troubled. Let the delay not be a reason why you commit self-harm. These are people that should have shed rights to other citizens of this country, but their desperation and insensitivity to life lead them to untimely and early grave. Don't go this way. Disbursement might be delayed. Disbursement might not come at the time you need it most. That doesn't imply you have to take decisions that send you to early grave. You have been celebrating Christmas. You have been eating rice. You have been wearing nicer clothes. A delay in doing all these things this time doesn't imply you won't do them subsequently in times ahead. Wisdom is profitable. For the fact that you are still here, not rushed to the hospital, or you are back from the hospital, implies God have a plan for you. You have to live in a way that God's plan for you will actualize to the fullest in your life. So many of us are going to be used by God in days ahead to bless others, to elevate and empower others. You have to best position yourself for all these extraordinary divine plans in your life. For the fact that you are still alive is enough reason to appreciate God, especially for this day. Disbursement is already knocking at your door. Everything obeys the divine timetable. Wait for it. The disbursement we are anticipating is simply obeying the divine timetable. It's already knocking at your door. It's here. Yes, it's true. You are experiencing hardship. You barely feed in a day. Business has shut down. Your kids drop out of school. A eviction letter is pending. The courts will come and sack you of the accommodation you are occupying. If they sack you, move on to stay with your friends or even with your church. You are going to move from squatting in your friend's house or from the church to a mansion or a bungalow of your own in coming days ahead. It's God's will for you. The important thing is, let nobody suffocate and die while waiting for disbursement. Disbursement is already here. The delay in disbursements have already created so many advantages and blessings. It's a blessing in disguise. The NGO CEOs will be receiving 2 bundles instead of 1, while the beneficiaries will receive 3 million naira instead of 300,000, 1 million naira, and the likes. It's good news for all beneficiaries because you are going to receive from almost all the grant handlers you subscribe with. Continue to pray for your grant handler. Thank God for their resilience. They hold on strong in the process. If they have bowed to the pressure from the government authorities, what should have come right now shouldn't have come at all. Their resilience, doggedness, and flexibility have actually paid off to the advantage of everyone. Don't condemn the grant handlers right now. Your blessing can come from anywhere. If you are new to our channel or haven't subscribed before, kindly subscribe and activate the notification bell. Hence, when we publish our next specific update on disbursement, you will be immediately notified. Thank you for having me on Omjolivia TV today. Bye.